Good evening, Wesley So chess fans. Today, Wesley So has just drawn his game against Vladimir Fedoseev of Russia. And as Black, Wesley has successfully defended in a Petrov defense and was able to draw the game. So, tomorrow, Wesley will be playing White, and I just want to show a recent game year 2017, a game by Vladimir Fedoseev against Alexander Ipatov, just to show how Vladimir plays or handles the black pieces. So, as I have noted, Fedoseev is a little bit strong in tactics, and maybe Wesley has to equal him in that department or play solidly so that he would prevent Fedoseev from ever using his tactics against him. Although I am also confident that Wesley is also very strong in tactics. That's the reason he was able to shoot up in the elite of world chess because of his very great tactics and very strong endgame skills. So, without further ado, let's now see the game of Vladimir Fedoseev as black against Alexander Ipatov in this semi-slab defense. So Ipatov opened with d4, which was countered by d5, then c4, c6. This is a slab defense, and knight f3, and then knight f6, knight c3 for Fedoseev as white, and then e6. So the setup of Ipatov here is up against the solid slab defense of Fedoseev. So we have g3 and then takes on c4. This is like going into the Miran type defense setup for black. And bishop g2 and then knight bd7. Castling for white. So white has yet to recover the pawn on c4 and b5. So as we can see now, black has prevented white from recovering that pawn, or it seems that the setup of black, of white, I mean, he is really not intent on recovering that pawn. This bishop at g2 is making a an X-ray attack on the rook at a8 and an direct attack on the pawn at c6. So this setup does not intend to recover that pawn taken at c4. So here, white intends to strengthen his central pawn structure with e4. The reason that he allowed the pawn at c4 to be taken so that he won't be able to push with the e4 pawn with the e pawn on c4 and bishop b7. Okay, continues with the pawn push e5 and then knight d5, knight g5, h6. So Fedoseev here is inviting Ipatov to sacrifice his knight at e6, which Ipatov did. So knight takes e6 and then pawn takes e6, queen h5 check. So at this point, Fedoseev won't be able to castle anymore. So king e7 and then knight to e4, then queen e8. So the idea here is to sacrifice uh, two minor pieces to be able to get the rook at h8. That's the idea of Ipatov. So h takes g5 and then the queen takes the rook on h8. So here, what's happening here? Ipatov got two pawns and one rook for the two sacrifice minor piece. So the king marches on to the queen side to avoid the attack of white, and a4 to open up the other side. So here, Fedoseev counters with c5 to free up his knight on d7 to some more useful squares, or maybe later the bishop on f8 would be able to extricate itself too. So a takes b5. So Ipatov would not allow the other minor pieces of Fedoseev to free themselves. So here, what Fedoseev did is to take the pawn on d4. So which Fedoseev now has semi-frightening passed pawns here. So there are two passed pawns here. Passed pawns are those that are not blocked by any pawn on its path. So here the pawn at the c file is a semi-passed pawn because although it's not blocked, if it goes to c3, it can be taken by the pawn on b2. So, but this pawn on d4 is for Fedoseev is really a full-blown passed pawn here. So white continues with the attack, rook fc1, and Fedoseev defends with knight knight 5, which is the pawn on d5 to g6, and then knight e4. So Ipatov here does not want to exchange his bishop. So king d8. So the idea here, let's go back. So the idea of knight e4 is to go knight d6 check, forking the king and the queen of Fedoseev, and it can't be saved by bishop takes d6 because Ipatov's queen would take Fedoseev's queen at e8. So Fedoseev transfers his queen to d8 so that if knight d6, the bishop could take at d6. So that's a good defense. Then queen g8 by Ipatov and bishop d5 to defend the e6 pawn. And then here the pawn is being pinned, so b3 and knight knight c5 to attack the piece at e4. So here uh, Ipatov takes on c4 with the pawn. So I think it seems to be a blunder because of course instead of taking with the knight on e4, Fedoseev just took in the knight on e4 with the bishop on d5. So this is one piece. This exchange gains one piece for Fedoseev. So that's it. It seems that there's now three minor pieces for the rook that was sacrificed. So Fedoseev is now very much ahead in terms of material here. And then queen takes e6. Uh, this would not amount to anything, I think. It's the pawn on e6 is not really enough compensation for all the sacrifice piece. So he has one rook and three pawns for three minor pieces. It's not enough with the resulting position, which is easily defended by black. So the king goes to b8. Okay, removing the attack knight. Okay, Ipatov now has a passed pawn. Bishop e7 and queen g7. So Ipatov has gained 1 rook and 4 pawns for the 3 minor pieces. So let's see what would happen. Knight takes the pawn on c4, and then queen f7 attacking the knight on c4, knight b2. So in a game like this, it's uh, if I'm on the white side of the game, it's really very difficult to fathom and check all the knight jumps. Bishops are easier to comprehend, but with there's two knights here, and it's difficult to check every knight jump that is possible. So that's the disadvantage of white here at this point. And e6. Oh, so that's what I'm saying. We have now knight d3, and the knight is attacking the rook on e1 and the pawn on f2. So it's not the rook goes to f1 to defend the f2 pawn, and then knight c5, h4. So Ipatov is threatening to queen his pawn at the h file, and then the king moves so that he can free the rook at a8, h5. So what would happen now? Queen f8. Of course, Ipatov refuses to trade queens, and then queen f6. So this is a very good move because it frees up the rook to move along the 8th rank. So the Fedoseev's rook is now joining the game. It's been sleeping for a while, but it's now rejoined the game. So this pass pawn is actually a liability or for Ipatov at this position because it's blocked by a piece at e7. So that's how to defend against a pass pawn. Block it with a piece, and it can't move anymore. So this black pass pawn also blocks uh, Ipatov's major piece here, which is the rook. So at this point, it's better for you to not take this pawn at e6 because at this position because it's properly and securely blocked by the bishop on e7, which is supported by the queen on f6. So to continue, the rook goes to h8, attacking the queen, and queen f7, and then knight on c3 goes to e4, king g2, and then queen g5. Okay, we now have queen f3 and rook f8. So it's a very strong attack for black here with three menacing and effective minor pieces. And while Ipatov's rooks are really what you can see as really not doing anything that strong or that useful. So queen f1, and this is the killer killer blow which Ipatov missed. Rook takes f2, and at this point Ipatov resigned because if the rook at f1 takes the rook at f2, and then queen g3 check, the only move for the king is king h1, and what follows is knight takes f2 check, which is a checkmate check. So that's it. I have shown you the caliber and quality of Fedoseev's move, which is uh, an opponent of Wesley So in this point of the Chess World Cup 2017, which is the quarterfinals. Their first game was drawn, and tomorrow Wesley So will be white against Vladimir Fedoseev. So I would just say good luck to Wesley So. I am rooting for you, and I'm also enjoining others to pray for him that he would be in good condition till the rest of this Chess World Cup. So that's it. Thanks for watching my video. Good night and bye bye for now.